In crop protection, you pay more for the brand or choose a generic and hope for the best. Life Scientific believes you shouldn't have to choose. Using reverse engineering science, we deliver performance you can trust at a price that makes sense. Visit lifescientific.com/north-america for products and retailers near you.
I'm Lindsay Smith with Real Agriculture. Joining me now, it's Milton Dyck. He's the national president of the Agriculture Union. We're going to talk about some of the impacts of the cuts to AAFC, specifically on the research stations in Saskatchewan, Scott and Indian Head. But of course, there's an MOU and there's some uncertainty. And Milton, you're here to shed some light on this whole conversation. So welcome here. Tell us a bit about the Agriculture Union. People may not be aware of your organization or who you represent.
Okay, so I'm Milton Dyck. I'm the president of the Agriculture Union. And the Agriculture Union is a union that falls under the Public Service Alliance of Canada. And we represent employees working for Agriculture Canada that are in the agriculture and education group. So we represent people who work for Canadian Grain Commission, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and of course, Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. And we also do some smaller departments that deal mostly with education. So we have, it's our members who have been affected. A lot of our members have been affected with these cuts. And we're just really trying to push back against them and you know, in concern for our members losing their positions and for what we're losing for Canada.
Right. And let's unpack that a little bit in that. So you would represent many of the people, like the research technicians and the people that would be running the research sites that are going to be closed. And to put this in context, and so why this is so timely is that, of course, we've heard about these cuts and we've been following this along, but we just in mid-July we got word that the Saskatchewan government and the federal government had signed an MOU specifically regarding Scott and Indian Head. And a lot of people got really excited that, hey, these sites are going to stay open. But your organization is sort of flagging that the staff cuts are still continuing. You haven't received any indication that those would be canceled in any way. So where does the Agriculture Union sit on where this MOU may change things or not?
Okay, so the MOU, the agreement under is described as it allows AAFC, Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, and the province of Saskatchewan to explore temporary arrangements that support agriculture activities while the process moves forward of shutting down these research centers. And so the day, like the announcement was made, and the next week following Monday, our members who were at those stations were immediately sent a notification by Ag Canada that this changed nothing with them losing their positions or the research centers being closed down. So we don't know what that would mean for the station because it's a very vague, a memorandum to keep agriculture while we're shutting this station down. So that gives a 1-year time frame. What would you do with that? But it really slams the door that there's going to be any saving of the station or saving of jobs for our members.
So, and clarify something for me, because I had someone else ask this question. When the cuts were announced and the winding down of these stations, is that by like fiscal year end, like March 31st, that this is supposed to be complete, or what does that timeline look like?
So the timeline was variable because you can't shut down an entire research station right away. Mm-hmm. But what they did is they gave 120-day notification to the technicians and the scientists, the people who do a lot of the research, and they said your jobs are done in 120 days. They kept everyone else, like the field workers, some of the clerical staff, admin staff, on as you're affected, meaning your job is going to be gone, but we are going to keep you for now as we shut the station down.
Okay. Okay, so it is sort of like they're, depending on the role, you may have got a different timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, and let's back up one step as well. What is happening on these stations right now? Like, is as you say, so the staff have been told they'll be affected, but it sort of all hangs in the balance. Are these research stations continuing to run trials and plots, et cetera, right now? Like, what does it look like at these stations right now?
No, they are not. They might be finishing off a couple plots for this year, but for most of them, they're done. They're done. They may be putting in filler crops instead of plots, maintaining the land. When you look at long-term plots, and I'll throw in Swift Current, Saskatchewan here, they had an organic program, and they went and they tilled up their long-term plots. So destroying the scientific base for that. And with the scientists and the technicians, they've already had to make their choice of how they're leaving the federal government.
Okay.
So that's many have already left because they were quick, they forced them out first.
Okay. So obviously there is from a union perspective, this is you want your members to keep their jobs, certainly. But as you mentioned, the work that has been ongoing, the trials that have been going on at these different research stations, some of them, are on 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, or long-term, timelines. Beyond the jobs, what do you fear is lost if this all goes forward as it is currently laid out, where all of the staff will be terminated and the sites will essentially cease to be research farms?
So what I'm worried about is the loss of programs that have been, kept in play. Certainly with Swift Current, they're going to lose the organic portion of their research. With Indian Head, there's a big question about what's going to happen to the seed increase unit.
Right. Yep.
And every research center was chosen for a certain kind of climate area and a certain type of land base. It's very important that you do different research on different land bases. And so that's being lost when you get rid of stations. For Scott, they'll be losing a place to do chemical testing. That's one of the things they did at Scott.
Right.
And then for when you have long-term testing, it's a loss of credibility, especially if you have partners, either with business or with universities, and you're saying we're scrapping this right now. And I know I have not heard as many about Indian Head, but I know out in Nepan, they scrapped forage programs that were basically a slap in the face to the partners. And then that says, well, is Ag Canada a viable partner for working with them if they're going to be just scrapping things?
So now back to this MOU, though, is that the MOU was signed. It does, in the way I think, even the way I read it in writing it up for Real Agriculture, was essentially that it really opens the door for a conversation, but it doesn't guarantee any sort of immediate outcome or any ongoing outcome. Do you see, though, where it could potentially mean that some of the staff stays on, or that these research stations continue, or do you not feel that the MOU will get you there?
Research is money intensive, and it's also you have to have a plan. So while you could keep the research centers open, what they're doing is they're selling off their machinery, they're getting rid of their staff. Someone would have to come in with a plan of what kind of research they want to do, what kind of researchers they need to hire or scientists, and basically start from scratch. And that would be, yes, we can have discussions, but unless there's a plans, or, companies or businesses or universities already have plans or are looking to make plans to spend money, I don't see it happening. And, for hiring, it will probably be down the road a year or two or so.
So from that perspective, though, then, I mean, what has been there or is there, are the programs essentially done then? Like we can, even if the MOU ends up being something that, gets research going again, what was there, what did exist essentially is over.
Yes, for some of the stuff, but for the seed increase unit, they're trying to move it somewhere else.
Okay.
But I don't know where it's finally landed. I've heard three different places over the last few months, so it's hard to where you're going to put it. But also, what it does is it takes out a building block of what you can use for research, because you will never be able to rebuild a research center from scratch again, because it would be too costly.
Now, and finally, for context, I think it's important. Two things. There certainly has been a lot of support for these research stations that have come out since these announcements, and certainly some pushback from critics saying, this wasn't necessarily the way we needed. I mean, you mentioned having a plan. It feels like when we look at the actual dollar value saved, I sort of scratch my head at, is this really worth it given what ends up ending for the actual dollar value isn't that high. But there's also a discrepancy in the civil service. What prompted all these cuts is that, Carney said that the civil service needs to be reduced by X amount. And it's a budgetary measure. Ag Canada, though, didn't necessarily have the same growth as other parts of the civil service. What does that look like in numbers?
Okay. So in numbers, the civil service has grown by about 30% of employees over the last 10 years. Ag Canada has not grown at all.
Okay.
So it is a organization that hasn't grown, and yet they're being asked to cut even the same amount as all these other organizations that have grown. Research doesn't always get the same funding as other departments, because it's not a campaign item, and sometimes it takes longer for research. So it's been squeezed down again. It was squeezed, in the 2012 era of contraction, and it's never recovered.
I think there was one before that too. So
Oh yes,
okay,
there was.
yeah.
It's you've watched Ag Canada
Yeah.
go down, down, down,
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. So not yet, absolutely. But as you say, there have been sort of, major steps, and then
Yeah,
as you maybe
and
no
then
growth
it doesn't.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Now, and finally, I guess, so to that end, I mean, clearly for the sake of your members, you want these jobs to be maintained. You want these sites to stay open. Would it be possible so if the government were to turn around and say, okay, we changed our mind, do you think they actually could turn this back around and keep some of these things going? Or, I mean, obviously something that's tilled under, okay,
yeah.
you got to start again. But do you think there's capacity here to turn around and keep some of these things open this far into the process?
So from my perspective, from what I've seen with the government, if there's a will, there's a way. They would be able to keep these open, and they had a very strong commitment in the agriculture subcommittee that looked at that, was unanimous. All members of parliament who were on that subcommittee asked that these stations not be closed, and that is still being that report still has to be looked at by the House Commons. So
Right. Right. And the report, I mean, it's not binding, but it is a report
no.
that would go exactly and be presented to the House. So certainly, and I mean, it does. It calls for these sites to remain open, certainly across the board. Okay. Milton, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining
Okay.
me here. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for making the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
For the latest ag news, agronomic advice, and more, check out realagriculture.com and Real Ag Radio.